Officer Wallet Sore, a police officer, is driving through a dangerous neighborhood with cracked sidewalks and fading storefronts. His upbringing and years of experience have taught him to keep order in the area. He is suspicious of a woman, a black pregnant woman, who seems to be trying to get into her car. Wallet believes that people in this neighborhood are not just standing around for no reason, but are dealing drugs, scouting out robberies or scams. He pulls his patrol car over to the curb, stepping out onto the street with his badge, gun, and authority. He approaches the woman, who is surprised and confused by his appearance. Wallet assesses her well-dressed appearance, but doesn't believe she is hiding drugs or stolen goods. He tries to make sense of the situation, but his instincts are not good in his line of work. He repeats the question, "What are you doing here?" more forcefully, indicating that he is not in the neighborhood. Wallet Sore confronts a woman who is trying to get into her car. The woman, Menlin, is calm and composed, but Wallet is taken aback by her aggressive approach. He demands her ID, which she refuses to comply with. Wallet's father advises him to stay sharp and not let his guard down, as he has been raised to believe everyone is a suspect until proven otherwise. Menlin, frustrated but still maintaining her composure, locks eyes with Wallet, stating she has done nothing wrong. Wallet's determination to assert control over the situation is evident as he warns her not to ask again and threatens to show her ID. This time Menlin doesn't look scared and continues to stare at him, causing Wallet to feel a sense of urgency. Wallet Sore, a police officer, is confronted by Menlin, who refuses to back down and complies with his demands. This defiance is a challenge for him, as he is the authority in the situation. The crowd is growing, and Wallet's pulse quickens as he needs to show his authority to Menlin and the others. The heat rising in his chest is a result of the temperature and the situation, and Wallet's father's advice to never show weakness or back down is ingrained in his mind. As more people gather on the sidewalks, Wallet's nerves grow, and he must confront Menlin and the people around him. Wallet, a police officer, is being watched by others who judge him like he is a criminal. He is trying to stay in control and avoid being judged like a criminal. He is confronted by Menlin, who is calm and composed, as if she knows something he doesn't. Wallet's father, a police officer, has taught him to stay sharp and not let his guard down in such situations. Wallet feels his father's teachings pushing him to act in control, especially with Menlin. He is standing there with her, demanding answers in a confrontation. Wallet's aggressive posture and body language make it difficult for her to understand his intentions. Menlin, still calm, tells him that she is not resisting him and is just informing him that she is not resisting. Wallet's fear and resentment grow as he faces the situation and Menlin's actions. Wallet, a police officer, is confronted by Menlin, who challenges his authority. The tension is intense and he cannot let her walk away without consequences. His father urges him to maintain control and not let others exploit his weakness. Wallet's chest tightens and he takes a step toward her, focusing on her. He asks her to show him her ID or face arrest. Menlin's words hit him like a slap, and he thinks she is starting to realize he is not going to back down. Instead, she stands her ground, giving him orders. The heat in the air intensifies and Wallet's nerves pound as the crowd gathers. More people from nearby stores murmur their concerns and curiosity, and the phones point in his direction. Wallet feels the weight of the cameras recording his every move, and he cannot let Menlin walk away without showing her who he is. Wallet, a police officer, finds himself in a situation where he must confront Menlin, who refuses to comply with his orders. Menlin's calm demeanor and refusal to comply make him feel uneasy. He has experienced similar situations before, but this one feels different. The crowd's attention and cell phones recording the situation make Wallet feel even more on edge. He realizes that the bystanders are judging him and that he must handle the situation professionally. Wallet's father reminds him that he is the authority and cannot let others dictate his actions. He tries to make Menlin understand that she cannot defy him and that he is the one in control. Wallet's frustration grows as the crowd becomes more involved, and his phone records capture every angle of the encounter. Wallet is left wondering if he should leave Menlin alone, fearing he might get in trouble for his actions. Wallet Sore, feeling pressured and overwhelmed, takes control of a situation involving a pregnant woman. He threatens her with a charge of resisting arrest if she doesn't comply. Menlin's calmness ignites a flame of anger within Wallet, who is now unable to contain it. He grabs her arm, causing her to gasp and her face to contort with pain. She whispers, "I'm pregnant," which breaks through the fog of anger. Wallet blinks as if waking up from a dream and looks down at her closely. He sees her not as a suspect or threat, but as a human being, a pregnant woman who hasn't done anything to deserve the way he is treating her. Wallet's grip loosens, but the damage is already done. Menlin stumbles backward as she tries to understand Wallet's actions. The scene highlights the tension and anger between Wallet and Menlin, as well as the consequences of his actions. Wallet releases her arm after a rough handling, but the physical pain and fear for her unborn child make her heart pound. The crowd's tension increases, and Wallet feels the weight of their eyes on him. Menlin, trembling as she speaks, still shows an underlying strength. Wallet is left in a state of confusion, losing control of the situation and suspecting Menlin is hiding something. As the crowd roars, two officers, Captain James and Captain Jones, arrive on the scene. Captain James is concerned for Menlin and asks if she is okay. Wallet is shocked and confused, but the officer who called her captain is already at Menlin's side, gently helping her sit down on the curb. Wallet's instincts seem to be failing him, and he is left to piece together the fragments of the situation. Wallet Soar is shocked and shaken by the news of his recent assault on a pregnant woman. He struggles to process the fact that the woman was his superior and the new captain of the precinct. A younger officer approaches the scene, and Wallet's heart aches as he realizes he has made the worst mistake of his career. Menlin, the victim, reveals that she is not just any woman, but his superior. The truth of the incident is evident in the faces of the crowd, and the phones still pointed at him. Wallet's justifications crumble, and the truth of his actions is undeniable. The crowd grows larger, tension escalating. Some people shout at Wallet, while others call for justice. His badge, once a symbol of authority, now feels like a lead weight pulling him down. The situation is a stark reminder of the weight of guilt and the importance of justice in a police officer's life. Wallet Soar, a young officer, finds himself arrested for a crime he committed. He is cuffed, and his body is weighed down by the consequences of his actions. The crowd, including witnesses, is filled with disapproval and silence. Wallet's mind races to make sense of what has just happened, and his chest feels tight. He glances over at the crowd, which ranges from anger to satisfaction. Some people mutter under their breath, while others shake their heads in disgust. Wallet's mouth feels dry as he struggles to think of something that makes sense of the situation. The enormity of his actions silences him, and he steals a glance over his shoulder at Menlin, who is sitting on the curb. Her gaze is distant, but when their eyes lock, he sees an unwavering look that says she knows exactly who he is now. Wallet's bravado and authority seem irrelevant in the face of the chaos and the loss of his reputation. Wallet realizes he is confronting his own prejudices and assumptions about law and order. He has just attacked a pregnant black woman, the new police captain, and now he is in the backseat of his patrol car. The weight of his actions is heavy, and he feels sick. He has been blinded by his anger and ego, leading to the humiliation of being in handcuffs. His father had taught him to trust no one, especially people from neighborhoods like this one, and to not let them push him around. The young officer, now quietly reporting the incident to his superiors, only deepens Wallet's sense of dread. His mind replays the events of the last half hour, and he is left feeling overwhelmed and humiliated, questioning his actions and their consequences. Wallet realizes the twisted mindset his father had instilled in him, centered around control and fear. The weight of the incident is immense. He cannot brush it off, and his reputation is in ruins. His deep-seated prejudices have led him to assault an innocent woman, and news of his actions spreads like wildfire. Videos of Officer Wallet Soar's assault on Captain Menlin James circulate on social media, the confrontation escalating. The aftermath, including the revelation of Menlin's true identity, spurs hashtags like Justice for Menlin, Corrupt Cops, and Accountability Now. The atmosphere is tense, and the department is about to be thrust into the spotlight. Captain Menlin James, still sore from the day's events, sits in her office. her body aching. The situation is not just a public scandal, but an internal one, as the department braces for the fallout. Menlin, a newly appointed captain, grapples with the personal attack by a rogue officer, Wallet. Her arm is bruised from his grip, but her thoughts race. The incident isn't just about one officer, it's about the entire system and the deeply ingrained biases that allowed Wallet to treat her this way. Menlin has spent her career fighting for justice and equality, policing that protects communities. As the new captain, she feels responsible for addressing these issues. Her husband, Deputy Chief Luis Martinez, arrives at her office concerned for her well-being. He reveals that the incident highlights a culture that allowed this to happen. He believes it could have been worse if Menlin had been an officer on the street without rank. Menlin faces scrutiny from the mayor's office and internal affairs, who are calling for a press conference tomorrow morning. The public wants answers, and the department needs to rebuild trust. Menlin believes accountability is necessary for every officer, not just Wallet, and proposes holding a town hall where the community can speak directly to the officers and leadership. She believes this bold move will show transparency and make them feel heard. Lewis agrees, and Menlin plans to initiate the town hall during the press conference. She knows the road ahead will be difficult, with resistance from officers who don't want to change. Menlin understands that without real changes, the department will crumble under the weight of its own failures. Menlin, a black woman in a powerful police department, fights for justice for all citizens mistreated or abused by those sworn to protect them. The events of the past 24 hours have left her emotionally drained, grappling with the wound of knowing someone in her department treated her like a criminal because of her skin color. She has always known that racism exists, but experiencing it so viscerally from someone she was supposed to lead is deeply ironic. Menlin's husband, Malcolm, appears in the doorway, a mixture of concern and support on his face. He knows tomorrow will be a big day, but are they ready to fight for justice for everyone who needs it? Menlin feels tired and frustrated, having to fight for the respect she should already have earned. Malcolm reassures her that she has indeed earned it through her dedication. Menlin acknowledges that Wallet's actions reflect a broken system and that he will face consequences. She wants change, not revenge, believing the entire department must be held accountable for its biases. Malcolm tells Menlin to speak from her heart, as people will see the truth. She knows that tomorrow's press conference is about confronting systemic racism in law enforcement and holding people accountable. Menlin is aching from the physical toll of the day and recognizes she needs rest. Tomorrow's press conference is crucial, and she must take care of herself and her team. Menlin, a captain in her department, faces the media for the first time in her career. She is greeted by Malcolm, who praises her courage and support. Menlin feels nervous and unsure of what to say, hoping to meet everyone's expectations. As she approaches the precinct, she is met by reporters and cameras. Her focus remains on the larger battle for justice, fairness, and accountability. The crowd is silent as she speaks confidently, stating that the assault was not an isolated incident, but part of a larger systemic issue. She acknowledges that the officer who assaulted her made assumptions based on her appearance and skin color, and this is not just a one-time occurrence, but part of a broader problem. The crowd watches her every word, recognizing her role as captain. The text describes a situation involving Captain Menlin James and her colleagues, Wallet Soar and Captain Jones. The officers are tasked with conducting a thorough investigation and implementing new training programs, protocols, and standards of accountability. They are also engaging with the community to rebuild trust and address the issues that led to Wallet's actions. Menlin's voice grows stronger, and she believes that under her leadership, the department will become a place where justice is served for everyone, regardless of race, gender, or background. Wallet Soar, now a former officer, sits in a small, windowless room at the Internal Affairs office, feeling oppressive and powerless. Two investigators enter, one with short brown hair and sharp features. They review footage, speak with witnesses, and gather information. Wallet faces the weight of the situation, eager to hear the other side of the story. Wallet Soar, confronted by an investigator who accuses him of assaulting a pregnant woman, realizes that this is not just about rank, but about his conduct as a police officer. He is unsure if the investigator is acting suspiciously and grapples with the fear of being found guilty. The investigator argues that Wallet's actions were based on assumptions, tied to Menlin's race, appearance, and neighborhood. Wallet is left defenseless, facing the consequences of his actions. He has been a cop for years, following the rules and beliefs instilled in him, but now he is facing serious charges, including assault, abuse of power, and potentially civil rights violations. The mention of civil rights violations makes Wallet's stomach churn, as he recalls hearing of officers facing similar charges. The social and public fallout could be catastrophic, with his name plastered on the news and his face on TV screens. Wallet Soar, a police officer, is confronted by a female investigator who reveals that his actions exemplify racial bias and police misconduct. The department is already under intense scrutiny for incidents involving such bias. Menlin, a high-ranking black woman in the department, is one of the few in her position. The assault she suffered at the hands of one of her own subordinates is poised to make national headlines, and the department has no choice but to hold Wallet accountable. He realizes he has never examined his own biases. His experiences as a white cop in a racially charged environment have only reinforced certain beliefs. The investigators watch him closely, waiting for an explanation or defense. A wave of regret washes over Wallet for hurting someone he had let himself become. Wallet's Soar is suspended due to his actions, which have clouded his judgment and betrayed his oath. A male investigator presents him with a formal notice of suspension, stating he will be placed on administrative leave without pay pending the outcome of the investigation. The female investigator warns him about the possibility of criminal charges and emphasizes that the department will not tolerate such behavior. Left alone, Wallet feels the crushing weight of his actions, realizing that the system he always believed in is far more complicated and flawed than he had imagined. The situation has become a national story, reflecting the growing scrutiny of police practices across the United States. Outside the precinct, the mood is somber. Officers move slowly, their faces etched with concern. Menlin, the press conference's speaker, feels the heaviness of the moment and the urgent need for systemic change. Under Menlin's leadership, the department faces a significant challenge in addressing racial bias. Despite internal resistance from officers uncomfortable with the new direction and public criticism, Menlin is determined to effect real, lasting change. The fallout from the press conference is already evident, with some officers feeling targeted and others worried about creating tension within the ranks. Leadership faces mixed reactions. While some support the reforms, others believe they will only exacerbate tensions. Menlin acknowledges the long road ahead, but believes it's crucial to make real changes and avoid repeating Wallet's mistakes. Luis Martinez, a friend of Menlin, understands the challenges and the importance of maintaining a clear goal. Despite the obstacles, Menlin remains resolute in her commitment to meaningful reform. Menlin, a captain, faces significant upheaval in her department following the incident involving Wallet. The scrutiny is immense, with serious charges looming over him, including assault, abuse of power, and potentially civil rights violations. Internal Affairs is managing the investigation, and Wallet is expected to be dismissed. The department faces pressure from civil rights groups, the mayor's office, the media, and the public. Menlin is steadfast in her commitment to implementing changes, being transparent with the community, and holding individuals accountable. As Menlin's phone rings, she receives a call from the mayor's office, requesting an update on the situation. The mayor expresses satisfaction with how Menlin is handling the crisis, but there's concern about establishing a civilian oversight committee to monitor the department's reform progress. Menlin supports this idea, recognizing it as a means to build trust with the community and ensure accountability. Menlin faces a daunting challenge in her department. The weight of her responsibilities and the mayor's trust press down on her, but she is determined to restore faith in the police. She and her team work tirelessly to draft new protocols and prepare for town hall meetings with the community. At the first meeting, Menlin confronts a crowd of angry, hurt, and frustrated residents, voicing their concerns and hopes for the future. An elderly black man stands up to share his experiences of police harassment. Menlin's determination shines through as she promises to work tirelessly for everyone who has been mistreated or marginalized by the system. Despite the challenges, she believes they can rebuild trust. On the other hand, Wallet Sore, now a suspended officer, struggles with the weight of his past and an uncertain future. His name is trending on social media, and his actions have ignited widespread calls for police reform. Activists demand he face criminal charges for his assault on Menlin, while the city's mayor condemns Wallet's actions, reaffirming the administration's commitment to addressing systemic bias within the police department. Wallet feels powerless, his career is in ruins, and his reputation is destroyed. He reflects on the incident, feeling as though he no longer knows who he is. A phone call from his father disrupts his thoughts, and he reluctantly answers. Wallet braces himself for a lecture from his father, a cop for nearly 30 years. Elder Soar believes that being a cop means exerting control, displaying strength, and never showing weakness. His father scolds him for destroying his career and disgracing the badge. Elder Soar emphasizes the consequences of Wallet's actions, not just for himself, but for the entire department. Wallet admits he made a mistake and faces potential job loss. His father tries to help him see the long road ahead, filled with legal battles, public scrutiny, and the destruction of his reputation. Wallet feels frustrated and guilty, but knows he must take responsibility for his actions and find a way to make amends. He is left grappling with his identity. Without the badge, he feels lost. Feeling disconnected from his identity as a cop, Wallet recalls his father's words, which had always felt hollow. He avoids the news and social media, but one day he receives a message from an unknown number, a link to an article about Captain Menlin James, leading a movement for accountability and reform in the wake of his actions. Conflicted emotions wash over him. He wants to apologize, but knows no words can undo the harm caused. The following week, Wallet receives a letter summoning him to a civil rights inquiry. Devastated, he feels uncertain about what to do next. He can't blame Menlin for her actions, but he realizes that no apology will ever be enough to erase the damage he has done. Captain Menlin James has filed a civil rights lawsuit against Wallet Soar, accused of abusing his power due to racial bias. This legal battle represents a pivotal moment for the police department, as it confronts the harsh realities of systemic injustice and the urgent need for true reform. The town hall meeting, called in response to the public outcry following Wallet's assault, has evolved into a citywide conversation about the culture within law enforcement and the changes necessary to prevent such incidents from recurring. Menlin's deputy, Luis Martinez, remains a steady presence throughout the process, supporting her as she navigates the complex politics of leading the department through one of its most challenging times. As Menlin steps up to the microphone, the room falls silent. She is ready to deliver a strong message of justice and a future where abuses are no longer tolerated. Menlin addresses the community's deep divisions and the injustices many have experienced. She emphasizes that Wallet's actions were not only wrong, but also a violation of the trust placed in law enforcement. She asserts that no one should be treated as a suspect based on their skin color or inherent bias. Committed to enacting lasting change, Menlin announces new training programs focused on implicit bias, de-escalation tactics, and community policing. As part of the reform plan, Menlin establishes a civilian oversight committee composed of community members. This committee will review complaints against officers, monitor departmental progress, and ensure accountability to the public. The announcement ignites a wave of discussion among the audience, as the concept of civilian oversight has long struggled to gain traction. A local activist, known for her vocal stance on police misconduct, speaks to the audience, expressing confidence in the progress being made under Menlin's leadership. Menlin addresses skepticism about the effectiveness of training and accountability measures. She acknowledges that change will take time and requires the community's active involvement to hold the police accountable. She believes the Civilian Oversight Committee is vital for creating a system that serves and protects everyone equally and fairly. Menlin calls on the community for support in holding the police accountable and ensuring that promises are followed through. A young Black woman shares her personal experiences of harm at the hands of the police, underscoring the urgent need for trust. Menlin reassures her that transparency and accountability will be the foundation of their efforts to rebuild the department, addressing complaints and concerns from the community. Despite the uncertainty ahead, Menlin remains steadfast in her belief that regaining community trust will take time and effort. As the meeting progresses, More individuals step forward to share their stories, frustrations, and hopes for the future. Some demand immediate action and justice for past grievances, while others express cautious optimism about the potential for change. Menlin listens intently, taking notes on each concern. As a community leader, Menlin faces the weight of her legal battle against Wallet Sore. The meeting, which began with a sense of cautious optimism, has transformed into a renewed sense of purpose. Menlin feels both the burden of responsibility and a reinvigorated commitment to her role. She believes that true leadership lies in listening, learning, and dedicating oneself to hard work. As the crowd disperses, Menlin is acutely aware of the challenges that lie ahead. The courtroom is filled with reporters, community members, and curious onlookers as the legal battle between Menlin and Wallet intensifies. Wallet, who has lost weight since the incident, embodies a sense of defeat and vulnerability. His lawyer, Stephen Hartwell, is seasoned and experienced, tasked with defending Wallet against the civil rights lawsuit. Meanwhile, Menlin feels bolstered by community support and the hope that they can collaboratively build a better future. The case of Captain Menlin James against former Officer Wallet Sore is complex, characterized by overwhelming evidence, witness testimony, and public demand for accountability in law enforcement. Menlin's legal team has navigated numerous meetings, public appearances, and private discussions since the assault. The proceedings are about setting a precedent and demonstrating to the community that actions like Wallet's will no longer be tolerated. The judge, Monica Pearson, is known for her fairness and decisiveness. Menlin's lawyer, Olivia Martinez, presents the facts of the incident, emphasizing the racial bias that fueled Wallet's actions. Hartwell's defense hinges on Wallet's remorse, arguing that he acted out of poor judgment rather than malicious intent. Witnesses take the stand, and Menlin swears an oath, showcasing her determination to see justice served. Menlin, a black woman, was physically restrained by Officer Wallet Sore due to her appearance. She felt humiliated and powerless, perceived as a threat because of her race and the biases he harbored. The judge, Hartwell, expressed concern for Menlin's feelings and attempted to argue that Wallet's actions were symptomatic of the entire police department. Menlin countered that the biases leading to Wallet's behavior were not unique to him, but rather indicative of a culture within many police departments that views certain individuals as more dangerous and suspicious due to their race. The trial progressed, with both sides presenting their arguments. But Menlin's testimony was powerful and resonant, striking a chord with everyone in the courtroom. The court seemed to lean toward a ruling in her favor, as former officer Wallet Sore had acted out of racial bias, violating Captain Menlin James's civil rights. Judge Pearson emphasized the critical need for reform to change the system that allows such behavior to go unchecked. Ultimately, the court ruled in favor of Captain Menlin James, a victory that symbolized her fight for the rights of those wronged by the police system. This triumph resonated beyond the courtroom. Menlin felt a sense of closure and accomplishment. Wallet, who had anticipated this outcome, was shocked by the verdict, but it marked a turning point for him as well. Menlin caught a glimpse of humanity in Wallet, sensing the potential for change in him, despite the prejudices that had consumed him. As she left the courtroom, Menlin felt a renewed sense of hope and a profound sense of accomplishment, knowing that the real work lay ahead, reforming the police department, rebuilding trust within the community, and ensuring that incidents like this would never occur again. Walking away, she felt optimistic about the future and grateful for the opportunity to lead the way in her city.